Hey there, and welcome to your deep dive. Get ready, because we're going to jump headfirst into a job you probably don't think about every day: engineered woodboard grading.
Sounds riveting.
Oh, it totally is. It's about way more than just lumber. Think about it. This is about the behind the scenes stuff, the hidden systems that hold up our houses, our furniture, everything. And to help us break it all down, we're diving deep into some excerpts from RoleCatcher, that career development platform.
Yeah, they always have their finger on the pulse of, well, everything in the workplace, right?
Right. We've got their engineered woodboard grader guide, plus some cool insights on how to navigate the job market these days. But first things first, what do these engineered woodboard graders actually do? I'm picturing someone, I don't know, with a giant magnifying glass just staring at wood grain all day long.
Well, you're not totally off about the whole keen eye thing, but honestly, it's way more dynamic than you'd think.
Okay, so what are they, like wood whisperers or something?
Kind of. These are the unsung heroes of quality control, making sure that the engineered wood we use to build stuff actually meets some seriously strict standards. They're looking for anything that could make it weaker. We're talking teeny gaps in the glue, warping that could mess up a whole building, even blemishes that seem like no big deal but could be a sign of bigger problems.
So they're like wood detectives hunting down clues most of us wouldn't even notice. What's wild to me is that it's not just about looking at it, right? They actually, test the wood's strength.
You got it. They've got special equipment to figure out how much weight a board can handle,
Yeah.
how much pressure before it just buckles,
Whoa.
right? And here's the kicker. These tests aren't just some random standard. They're tied to building codes and safety regulations.
So an engineered woodboard grader could actually be the difference between a building that stands strong and, a total disaster. Wow, that just got real.
It's a huge responsibility, no doubt. But it shows how important engineered wood has become for how we build now. I mean, think about it. Deforestation, needing more sustainable materials. Engineered wood is a big part of solving that puzzle.
That's true. So we're not just talking quality for quality's sake here, right? It's about safety, sustainability, finding new solutions to some pretty huge problems.
Yeah.
Now, RoleCatcher also dives into the pros and cons of this whole career path. And being honest, in this economy, that good salary potential they mentioned caught my eye.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about. And the need for skilled people in this field, it's only going up. Job security is a major plus.
Makes sense.
Of course, like any job, there are trade-offs. It's a factory setting, which can be loud, and there's potential for dust and chemicals, that kind of thing.
That's the thing about hands-on work, right? Always a trade-off. But what I find really interesting is how this career path shows a bigger trend. We're paying more attention to where our stuff comes from, how it's made, who's making it.
100%. And I think that the awareness is only going to increase as we talk more about ethical sourcing and sustainable manufacturing and all of that.
Yeah.
Even if you aren't running off to become an engineered board grader yourself, understanding the process changes how you see the stuff we use every day,
Totally. It's like taking a peek behind the curtain. It's interesting you mentioned that whole awareness thing, like knowing where stuff comes from. Makes me think about the career path here. Does RoleCatcher talk about that at all?
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just like you start here, you end there kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So like room to grow, specialize, that sort of thing.
Exactly. You might begin as a junior grader, learning the ropes of inspection. But as you get more experience, there are definitely ways to specialize. Could become a quality control inspector, managing a whole team, even move into like a supervisor role in the whole production process. Lots of options.
So even in a field this specific, you can move up, get really good at one particular thing. It's like anything else, I guess. Start with the basics, build from there.
That actually reminds me of something else RoleCatcher mentioned, the whole job hunting thing, especially now with AI and all those applicant tracking systems everyone's freaking out about.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Totally different game now.
Right. It's not just about having the skills anymore. It's like, how do you make those skills show up for the robots,
Exactly. Gotta speak their language just to get your foot in the door these days.
It's crazy. RoleCatcher really stressed tailoring your resume and CV, not just throwing everything you've ever done on there, but picking out the skills and experience that actually match what the company wants.
And that's a skill in itself. Being able to figure out what a company values, what problems they're trying to solve, and then basically saying, hey, I'm your solution.
Right, right.
Takes some serious self-awareness and knowing how to communicate your strengths.
It's like you got to reverse engineer the whole hiring process. Yeah, kind of. And that way of thinking, understanding systems, figuring out new tech, those skills, they work everywhere, not just for applying for jobs.
Makes you think maybe these engineered wood board graders, with all that attention to detail, making sure things are done right, maybe they're ahead of the game in some ways. But speaking of ahead, there's one more thing I want to touch on: sustainability. We talked about engineered wood being like a greener choice, but does RoleCatcher get into how this job actually plays into a greener future?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
And while RoleCatcher doesn't go too deep on environmental stuff, I think it goes back to those bigger trends we talked about. Consumers,
Yeah,
we're getting more aware of how our choices impact the environment, right?
definitely.
So naturally, the demand for sustainable stuff, things made in a way that's easier on the planet, that's just going to keep growing.
So someone who really gets engineered wood, like how to make it strong, make it last, but without wasting a bunch of resources, they're going to be super valuable as we try to be more sustainable.
Totally. And
Yeah.
honestly, that might be the most interesting thing we've uncovered in this whole deep dive. We started with a job most people haven't even heard of, engineered wood board grading.
Right.
But look where we ended up. Quality control, how work is changing with AI, how the choices we make every day are shaping the future of the planet. Wild, right?
It's amazing how one topic can unlock so much. It just goes to show, even in the most unexpected places, there are these cool stories, valuable skills, maybe even some inspiration for ourselves, you know? This has been your deep dive made just for you. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the world of engineered woodboard grading. Who knows, maybe you'll never look at a chair or a table the same way again. Until next time, keep those questions coming and keep diving deep.